Do you know anything about your product process and history? Exactly this knowledge makes difference between professionals and others in the market. In the supply chain management course, we will review A to Z of product process from manufacturer to end customer. Importance of this knowledge refers to reduce the cost and gain more profit. So let's start it from lesson 1 and basic knowledge. In the previous video, we had a short review on what we will learn and an introduction to the supply chain. As you know, each company and each business is a part of the supply chain, and so this course could be very helpful for everybody who works as a seller, producer, manager, shipment broker, and everyone who has any role in the market. In the previous lesson, I mentioned all titles that we taught. So as I mentioned, today we are going to talk about these titles. Let's start our lesson with an example. For example, a customer may go to a Walmart store to buy laundry detergent. In this case, the supply chain begins by planning to satisfy customer needs through a sales forecast for laundry detergent. Procter and Gamble, as a manufacturer of detergent, develops a forecast for sales. From the forecast, a demand plan is developed that enables its procurement department to purchase the raw materials used to make the detergent, along with plastic containers, labels, and other necessities. These items are received, stored, and then used in the manufacturing process. The individual completed containers of detergent are then packed in boxes for shipment, transported to distribution centers, and ultimately delivered to retailers like Walmart. Sometimes reverse logistics might occur. Reverse logistics is a necessary process for product returns resulting from products that are defective. Products that require an upgrade or refurbishment, preventive maintenance, or even products recalls stemming from safety or environmental concerns. Typically, customers will interact with the customer service department to determine the nature of problem, and customer service personnel will issue a return materials authorization along with shipping instructions and other details. Supply chain management. Supply chain management, or SCM, is a comprehensive approach to the management of the entire flow of the data, information, materials, and services of the individual supply chain functions previously mentioned. The ability to link these functions and integrate them with other elements in the business process is dictated by the overall management strategy. Therefore, the management of a supply chain cannot be viewed independent and a standalone organization and must be arranged to work in concert with other business process, functions, and departments. The Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals, CSCMP, supply chain management encompasses the planning and management of all activities involved in sourcing and procurement, conversion, and all logistic management activities. In a sense, supply chain management integrates supply and demand management within and across companies. SCM takes into consideration activities involved in confirming that products from the raw materials stage are turned into finished products and delivered to customers. These activities include sourcing of raw materials and parts, manufacturing and assembling, warehousing and controlling inventory, entering and managing orders, finishing, customizing and packing, distributing, and other options that you can see on the screen. SCM thus coordinates and integrates these activities into a continuous process, linking the entities together to ensure supply chains are competitive and satisfy customers with the right products at the right prices. Supply chain strategy. Corporate strategies determine the target markets for companies to pursue, and companies then decide if they want to compete on price, service, quality, innovation, flexibility, or a combination thereof. In fact, the supply chain of two different retail stores, even selling the same items, can be quite different. For example, Walmart owns their distribution centers and has their own fleet of trucks to serve its immense number of retail stores and control the flow and availability of products. Meanwhile, smaller retailer stores, such as boutiques and other specialty shops, don't have as many retail outlets, and the products they offer are not guaranteed to have the lowest prices. Additionally, they don't have their own trucks or warehouses, so they must depend on other supply networks for product availability. The competitive strategies companies choose influence product price, delivery time, variety, and quality. Supply chain management principles. SCM is estimated to influence as much as 80% of the cost associated with the total cost of delivering the final products or service. So, companies have invested in comprehensive enterprise resource planning or ERP system. And today, SCM is an integral part of the broader business. It's woven into the fabric of a business, not a standalone element operating in vacuum. Demand planning. The demand planning function defines what inventory and resources are needed to support the sales forecast. Demand planning is the process of planning goods, materials, and resources required for procurement and manufacturing to support the sales forecast. The process starts with the general requirements defined by the sales department for finished or semi-finished products, which require additional manufacturing steps to become finished products. They are also called work in process. The plan further enables the generation of procurement requisition for raw materials and other goods and materials. This balance is critical to ensuring stock levels are optimized to satisfy manufacturing process requirements, while simultaneously making sure stock levels are not excessive. Having too much inventory is expensive and has inherent risk of obsolescence and shelf life expiration. Supply management and procurement. Purchase personnel receive requirements on purchase requisitions, solicit suppliers for pricing and delivery, evaluate supplier response using an evaluation process, negotiate to achieve the best value, and make awards by issuing POs. PO are a company authorizing documents and financial commitments to buy products and services. Procurement personnel must consider the benefits and risks of working with suppliers in different countries. The specific issues must be managed across different time zones and cultures, and different approaches must be used to mitigate supplier disruptions like natural disasters, embargoes, strikes, currency fluctuation, and military conflicts. Procurement personnel must also manage suppliers after awarding a PO to ensure products and services are delivered on time, at the value stated on the PO, and at the correct quality level. If suppliers are not managed and open POs are not tracked, late deliveries could cause manufacturing disruptions and even delivery delays, resulting in lost sales. Warehousing operations. Warehousing personnel performs the receipt, storage, retrieval, and distribution of procured goods and materials. Initially, goods and materials are received from suppliers into a warehouse by warehousing personnel who unload trucks, inspect items to ensure there is no product or shipping damage, and process the items, now formerly part of inventory, to a storage location until they are needed. Once there is a demand for the stored inventory, warehousing personnel retrieve or pick the inventory and deliver it to the intended destination, such as manufacturing for assembly. As manufacturing personnel completes their assembly operations, they process raw materials and semi-finished goods, sending finished products back to the warehouse. At this point, products could be stored for further assembly operations or might be packaged and prepared for immediate delivery to a customer. Warehouse designed to function as distribution centers can provide additional services for customers. This could include services like cross-docking and kit assembly. Cross-docking generally moves incoming products directly to outgoing trucks, thus eliminating the need for storage entirely. Kit assembly is performed to pick multiple items and place them into one kit or container for processing to be sent to manufacturing. This enables the manufacturing assembly operation to assemble the final product easily. Warehousing is supported by Warehouse Management System (WMS) that is linked to a company's ERP system. The WMS is integrated with the materials handling system, which includes equipment to move, stock, pick and route goods in out of warehouse and distribution centers. These materials handling systems features a specialized software that enhances the flow of information and communication to optimize the efficiency of warehouse process. Manufacturing and service operations. Manufacturing organizations convert raw materials and other procured items into final products that can be delivered to a customer. To aid in this process, the company-wide ERP system includes modules for forecasting, requirements planning, work order scheduling, and links to other business systems. Products can't be manufactured and services can't be delivered unless tools are available. This means demand planning must accurately determine what is needed and when it will be required. Transportation operation. The appropriate way to understand the field of transportation operation is to consider the economic perspective. Transportation involves the physical movement of people and goods between origin and destination points. Transportation provides the links between diverse entities spread across the global supply chain and connects the supply chain by moving inventory with trucks, train, plane, ships, and pipelines. Any combination of two or more these modes to achieve a delivery requirement is called intermodal transportation. Customer service operations. While customer service is presented as the last learning block, it actually threads its way throughout the supply chain. Customer service is essentially the delivery of customer satisfaction and covers all aspects of the supply chain. Customer service also interfaced with operations, warehousing, and inventory, which assist in ensuring customers receive products when they need or want them, while simultaneously managing inventory to control costs. Within the modules of an ERP system or in standalone systems, customer service is supported by inventory stock status, customer contact management, Salesforce management, customer relationship management or CRM system, customer relationship management or CRM system. Experts define some models for supply chain networks, and we will talk about some of them during this course. We will first turn our attention to the supply chain operations reference model, also known as the SCOR or SCOR model. It was created by the Supply Chain Council, and the Supply Chain Council is now merged with the American Production and Inventory Control Society, which is one of the many professional societies associated with supply chain. The SCOR process are those that a supply chain must execute in order to meet its primary objects of fulfillment customer orders. For each unique process, a score only has one representation. A score recognizes six major processes: plan, source, make, deliver, return, and enable, which are referred to as level 1 process. A score model process. The score model is based on 5 core processes. Plan includes balancing resources, preparing business rules, and aligning the supply chain plan with the organization's financial plan. Source. This includes inventory management, sourcing raw materials, suppliers, agreements, and payments. Make refers to manufacture and defines whether to make to order, make to stock, or engineer to order, including managing production, BOM, equipment, and facilities. Delivery. Order, receipt and processing, warehousing, delivery, as well as finished goods inventory management and life cycle management. Return. Business rules for handling the returned products. These core processes are regarded as level 1 process. The SCOR methodology defines a total of 4 levels, each level representing a deeper dive into each core process. This includes major process, process categories, process elements, and improvement tools. Each level is further subdivided into multiple categories, enabling an extremely detailed specification of supply process according to specific SCOR attributes that include um, reliability, responsiveness, agility, cost, asset management. The SCOR roadmap consists of 5 steps that are repeated over and over again: engage, define, analyze, plan, and launch. I don't talk about SCOR strengths. It has high credibility and thousands of companies have invested in SCOR and they have seen real improvements in their supply chain. It has standardized metrics and so etc. and so on and so on. But about the weakness of SCOR as a management tools, although many organizations have benefited from SCOR, it must be remembered that the process was developed at a time when business management software was in its infancy. As example, manual evaluation process. While some organizations have attempted to computerize their process, there is still great reliance on manual measurement and evaluation. Of course, answers may be found more uh, readily thanks to some of the software. Static, not dynamic. SCM processes are inherently static. The time delays inherent in any sort of scorecard evaluation mean that the current situation is different from what has been measured. Results not directly actionable. There is no mechanism to determine the right way forward except a repeat of the engage, define, analyze, plan and launch cycle. However, in complex situations, there is no way of knowing if analysis conducted during that cycle is right, except in hindsight. All this takes time and organizations today need better tools to uh, dynamically optimize supply and demand issues. SCORE helps perpetuate silo thinking. While the overriding concept of SCORE demands holistic thinking, in practice it does encourage a degree of silo mentality. Silo mentality is when different teams or team members in the same company purposely don't share valuable information with other members of the company. This silo mindset hurts the unified vision of a business and details long-term goals from being accomplished. Supply chain networks. Supply chain networks or SCNet. A company's supply chain network impacts how quickly products get to their customers. Once implemented, it's hard to make changes which can affect multiple locations and departments. Therefore, a thorough review of the plan is required before modifying process or locations and resources. An optimal supply chain network has to fit with the organization's long-term objectives. Most business units in an organization have an interest in efficient supply chain operations. How does a supply chain network work? Businesses are often part of a larger network of organizations. A supply chain network can be used to highlight interaction between organizations. They can also be used to show the follow-up information and materials across organizations. Supply chain networks are now more global than ever and are typically structured with five key areas: external suppliers, production centers, distribution centers, demand zone, and transportation assets. Companies implement supply chain network designs to maximize profits and stay ahead of compet- competitors. A key factor is how well the existing supply chain integrates change. Now processes may mean substantial infrastructure change. The question becomes, is it worth it? Drivers that impact the supply chain includes the following. Here we have a list of drivers that impact the supply chain. As you see, um, sourcing, strategic planning, and other items. But about supply chain network design. It has been suggested by experts that 80% of supply chain costs are determined by the location of facilities and the flow of product between the facilities. Supply chain network design is sometimes referred to as network modeling due to the fact a mathematical model can be created to optimize the supply chain network. There is no definitive way to design an SCN as a network footprint. The capability and capacity and product flow all intertwine and are interdependent. Following on from this, there is also no single optimal SCN design. In designing the network, there is an apparent trade-off between responsiveness, risk tolerance, and efficiency. So there is no common supply chain network design. Now let's turn our attention to one of the major uh, reasons that a corporation exists. That is to provide an adequate return on invested capital provided by stakeholders in the organization. To improve the return on invested capital and be attractive for stakeholders funding, organizations must focus on a combination of increasing net profits and more efficiently utilizing capital. Organizations can focus on the amount of capital that is deployed to support the organization or reduce the cost of that capital. Let's take a minute to discuss the importance of inventory and what inventory is. There are many types of inventory including raw materials, component parts, work in process, and parts dedicated for service or repair operations. And of course, finished products are held at various locations in the supply chain. Inventory needs to be viewed as money. The key question to ask is this investment in inventory being most effectively applied? Why do organizations hold inventory? In the ideal environment, there would be no need for inventory, as a demand signal, such as a request to purchase a finished product by an end consumer, would signal the instant delivery of the finished product to satisfy the demand. So, by an end consumer would signal the instant delivery of the finished product to satisfy that demand. So, in a competitive market, being fast is important, but companies may have different approach to calculating and managing average inventory. Over the years, Walmart became a world-class leader in the retail industry, and they did so by focusing on supply chain process excellence, which can be seen in their inventory turns performance when compared to a competing organization. Here we have a new and amazing title. It's the physical internet. Today I decided to provide a separate video for this title, and now we have only a short explanation. What is physically the internet? In logistics, the physical internet is an open global logistics system founded on physical, digital, and operational interconnectivity through encapsulation, interfaces, and protocols. The physical internet is intended to replace current logistical models. Collaborative supply chain are those where organizations synergies through a smart product design and sharing of some process and uh, infrastructure across channel partners within a common supply chain. Most companies are now in the integrated or collaborative stage of supply chain development. Looking into the future, we will see the emergence of much greater hyper-connected supply chains. I will provide a separate video for this title as well as bring you some example. It could be useful video, I hope. Okay, there are a wide variety of national and local societies who supporting supply chain management knowledge. As a complex integrated system of process, supply chain has a wide range of typically domain-specific career paths, professional societies, and certifications programs, and career levels and titles are fairly similar across supply chain domains. But what is interesting to me in some of the company purchase manager acts as a supply chain management In other types, sales manager or even director, so supply chain management could have a different label. Effective customer service operations are critical to the success of every organization. It's important to note that customer service concepts apply to both external to the organization customers as well as internal customers. Examples of internal customers are such as when departments collaborating on joint efforts such as manufacturing and warehousing on customer fulfillment operations, or procurement and engineering working together on sourcing a new part. These satisfied external customers can serve as a roadblock to acquiring new customers and ultimately endanger the reputation of an entire organization. Some characteristics of good customer service include on-time delivery, which is getting something when you want it; politeness, which is being uh, treated with respect and in a courteous manner in all um, interactions; personalization. I believe this one can be an effective differentiator for developing a long-term relationship with external customers. This entails making customers feel special or unique. And quality, which is providing products and services that meet the expect that meet the expected customer specification. At the core of customer service is good communication. There are a number of different ways that customer service can be delivered today, including call centers, where professionals trained to deal with customer orders and address um, questions and issues are located together to address customers' concerns. Customer service stations, which are locations that customers can go to return or exchange goods or ask questions, typically are located within large retail operations. Live chat, which creates a virtual immediate communications mechanism between customers and companies without the need for telephone and often with advanced technologies. A live chat operator can have very specific information regarding the customer needs based on observing their behavior on the website. Email is another way to support customer service. However, it is often viewed as outdated or insufficient when a rapid response is needed, and in some cases may cause more badwill than goodwill with customers due to concerns with lost emails. In-person customer services delivered either through visits to retail stores or by having agents come to a customer's home or work location can be beneficial in better assessing more complex issues and understanding customers' feelings. Most of us probably think of supply chain as being focused on forward supply chain process, such as the sourcing of materials, creating of goods, and delivery of finished products. However, it's important to realize that returns, repairs, replacement, and spare part operation are just as important, or in some cases more important to overall customer satisfaction than forward supply chain process. Unfortunately, reverse logistics process often tend to be much more complex and overlooked than forward logistics issues. In some cases, reverse logistics is important and integral to the success of forward logistics. Likewise, emerging business models such as the clothing rental services rely on reverse logistics as much as forward logistics. Greenhouse gas emission generated by the logistics. About this title, we can talk about 2 hours. What is important to know for this lesson? Today we have a new topic in the global trade. It's green shipping. What does green shipping mean? Eco-friendly shipping supplies are often made of biodegradable materials. All of this means that they have less of an impact on the environment. Compressed natural gas or CNG, ammonia, methanol, and different materials as a full and as a alternative, and we can say the main shipment companies try to introduce new strategy to decrease greenhouse gas emissions. So we can say supply chain sustainability refers to companies' efforts to consider the environmental and human impact of their products um, journey through the supply chain, from raw material sourcing to production, storage, delivery, and every transportation linking between. Okay, we will continue our lesson in the next video. Thank you for your attention.